Hello everyone, I hope you are enjoying our study so far in lesson 7, and I hope that the feedback you've been seeing on your critical thinking drafts has been helpful to you. If you haven't had a chance to look over that yet, please do. I promise it'll be helpful as you work on your second draft and ultimately your final draft. And with that thought of improving in mind, I want to share just a couple of helpful hints and tips that I've compiled to help you polish and develop your critical thinking essay so that you can get the most points possible on the final draft. So let's go ahead and dive in. I don't want to take too much of your time today. I have taken a sample paper from the assignment description, and I've gone ahead and annotated it and highlighted it a bit to mark some important elements that we want to make sure that we're tracking in our own papers and including. So first off, let's talk about formatting. We want to have a properly formatted MLA style heading, as I've been saying on all of your feedback. Your name, my name, course name, date. Next, we want to have a title. Don't be afraid to get a little bit creative or descriptive with your title. It doesn't have to be something boring, saying critical thinking essay lesson 7 final draft. You just need to have something that will describe kind of your topic. Now next, this is something you might not yet be familiar with, but it is MLA style formatting for your page number. So you can go ahead and do this by inserting the page number element and then double clicking on it. And this should open a little box where you can type your last name right in front of the number. And it will apply this to all of the pages in your document. So this is a little thing, it's an MLA formatting thing, but the more we can familiarize ourselves with MLA style formatting, the easier life will be for you in your next English class and ultimately in any classes where you have to write formal papers. So I want to make sure we're getting familiar with that. The last formatting thing we really need to watch here, other than the normal indentation, is our margins. So we want to make sure that we have a 1-inch margin on all sides of the document. Okay, the next marks you're seeing here in this blue are actually content related. So right here, this would be the thesis statement for this paper. And this is generally where you want to include your thesis statement as well. Now, a good thesis offers an opinion and then the reason why that opinion is correct or valid. So keep that in mind as you craft your thesis, and also make sure that it is appearing at the end of your introduction. Think of it like your introduction is bringing up the topic and your thesis is making your claim, all in that first paragraph. Now you will echo this sentiment in the final paragraph in your conclusion, but we'll talk about that in just a moment. The next notes you'll see here are about the in-text citations. So anytime you're using someone else's words or an external source, you need to provide attribution for that, so who to attribute the quote to. So here, you can see there are a couple of different ways to do it. You can either work it into the body of your sentence, saying in 1 Nephi, it reads that, or you can include it in parentheses at the end of the sentence. It should be, if you choose to do this way with the parentheses, it should be outside of the quotation marks, but inside of the period. All right, moving on. Right here, as I mentioned before, we do want to talk a little bit about your conclusion. You need to be sure to echo your thesis statement, but that doesn't mean copy and paste. In fact, you want to restate your thesis in a meaningful and memorable way. That way you're ending your paper essentially where you started, but it doesn't feel too familiar and too canned. This is really your last chance to support your claim and leave an impression, so be sure to do your best writing there, to be persuasive, and don't rely on other people's words too much. You can include a little quote to support what you're saying, but the majority of your conclusion should be your own words, always. All right, next I have some information for you on a works cited page. In MLA style, this is kind of how we do it. You will want to have your formatting the same here as in the rest of your paper. So Times New Roman, 12 point, double spaced with no additional line spacing. Then you will include another title for this page, and it's just simply works cited right at the top, nothing special. Next, the thing that you're seeing here with the weird indentation is actually called a hanging indentation. So basically what you want to do is make sure that the first line is not indented, but the subsequent lines of a source are, by that same ½ inch. You can do this by dragging the arrows in the little ruler. Usually we drag the first one to indent that first line. Now you want to drag the second one to indent all other lines. All right. You also want to make sure that these sources are listed in alphabetical order. So we have Ashton, then Book of Mormon, then Holy Bible. And you want to make sure that these sources are appearing in MLA style. Now, this could be a little bit tricky if you haven't encountered this before, so I've included a couple of links here to help you. The Purdue OWL link will give you a guide so that you can create these kinds of source listings on your own. Or if you're looking for an easy way to just kind of familiarize yourself with the format, make sure it's right, you can use an online citation generator. My personal favorite is EasyBib, and I've included a link here to that as well. All right, now to end with a quick spiritual thought. Editing our paper, revising our drafts, all of it's about improvement. And if you were to talk to even the most seasoned authors, they will tell you that no transcript, no book is ever perfect. They just work and work and work until they can't anymore, and it's as good as it's going to get. We don't want to do quite the same thing with our lives, but we want to apply the same principle. We can do good. You have done good with your drafts, but you can do better, and you're working on that right now. But keep working towards your very best. You want to give your best in your paper so that you can get the best grade possible and the best education possible. And the same applies to us in our lives. Gordon B. Hinckley once shared the quote, "There is room for improvement in every life. We can improve ourselves and in so doing have an effect on the lives of those about us." I know it's a little daunting when we read the scriptures and are told to be perfect even as Jesus is, because it seems like that is just an insurmountable task. But as long as we're doing our part to be just a little bit better every day, then we're getting closer to our best. So keep that in mind in your day-to-day life, and also as you go through your papers. Don't become frustrated if there's something new that you're catching or a new change. You're just getting closer to your best. So thank you for all of the hard work that you have been doing, and I hope that this is helpful to you, and I wish you the best of luck with your papers. I'm so excited to see the final results.